The more items you have as an AD carry, the more available you are to group. The less items you have, the more towards split pushing you should be. If you have half an item or an item on AD carry and the fights are relatively far, you should rather just look to farm and chill. But what's going on, guys? Besides here, and this is the second part of the video on when and how to know you should rotate and follow a fight, and how do you improve your understanding on when exactly to group. Before we get started with the video, remember that on my stream I give free OPGG reviews. An OPGG review can help you to identify your biggest mistakes and can tell you exactly how good or bad is your champion pool. Plus you get tips on fixing your games and your MMR. All you have to do if you want to take advantage of the free OPGG review is follow my stream, twitch.tv/lol, and ask for one OPGG review. Enjoy the video. In the last video we talked about the distance rule and about the urgency rule. Obviously those two rules are very important, but there are other rules that you should also take into consideration when it comes to rotating and grouping with your teammates. In case you didn't see the first video of this series, make sure you check that first before you actually watch this video. I will leave a link in the description. Obviously, remember that these factors are not exhaustive and the decision-making process will vary depending on the specific game circumstances. Analyzing these factors alongside the previously mentioned ones will help you to make more informed decisions.
Wait, coach, I'm Silver and I don't understand. What do you mean? So, when do I have to follow and I have to not follow? So basically you're saying that I have to follow based on the distance and the urgency. Got it. But do you mean that there are other things as well?
The answer is absolutely yes. Also want to take a look at the number advantage or disadvantage, at the team compositions as well. Like first of all, do you have more people there? Do you have less people? This also helps you to take the correct decision. Team compositions, maybe our composition is more about poke, maybe it's more about all-in, so we have to play the team fight accordingly. When we're actually gonna group there, we also want to take into consideration how our team composition is designed to play. Third of all, where on the map is the enemy jungle, or what are the other threats that I don't see on the map? While I look there, I also want to see the HP of the guy that I follow. For example, right here, when Chovy saw that the Xanta is dead, he immediately just backed off on the mid lane, so it mattered. The HP of the guy mattered. You also want to know the objective control, like what objective is up, what objective is down, what are we playing for. The vision is also important, the wave state that you actually leave. But as you guys saw, all of these things, they don't matter more than the urgency and the distance. They kind of matter, all of them matter, but I would say the distance and the urgency are like 40% of the decision has to be taken by looking at the distance, 40% of the decision has to be by looking at the urgency, and all of these factors that I just mentioned are like 1%, 1%, 1%. Obviously the number advantage or disadvantage makes like 5% or 7% because it's very important to actually look to go there. But as you guys saw, even though even Chovy, he knew that the wave state is not as important when it comes to making an informed decision like the urgency, because he followed, but we saw that he actually followed on a bad wave. He actually followed, but he followed on a wave state that is actually just pushing into him, so the wave state wasn't important. Yes, you want to take into consideration all of these things. Also, the fight here is number disadvantage, right? He still fought this fight after the Xante was dead. He still was looking to click there, to actually go there, but he knows he has Tiber, so even though they have number disadvantage, he was still looking to kind of follow until the Herald is dead. So yes, it matters, like when you want to make the decision, number advantage is important, vision is important, objective control. But at the end of the day, even if your wave state is shit, even if the objective, even if there is a number disadvantages there, but you know you have big resources, you know that you can fight, you can look to hover your teammate a little bit more, and the moment when you see the fight is completely over, then you just back off. You do not want to die. Many people, they think that, oh, but you know, why are we fighting for Drake, why are we fighting for Herald? But the reality is that you can't control what your teammates are gonna do in solo queue. You can't control them, and this is why I recommend you to play more hover playstyle than ignore playstyle. Don't play the playstyle. If you play the playstyle of, okay, they shouldn't be fighting there, I'm gonna run, then your teammates are gonna die and you're gonna have no chance. The playstyle that you should adopt is simply hover, like Chovy does right now. Look at this. Just look at this right now for a second. Like Chovy looks to go. Rek'Sai went in. Obviously, if Rek'Sai is smart and he's a challenger player like he should be, after the Ahri is gonna ulti out, he should just back off because he doesn't know where is the jungle. So if Bel'Veth is gonna be right here, they instantly lose. This is why even Chovy is actually clicking back. He didn't expect the Rek'Sai to go in, even though he wanted to follow the gang, but he didn't actually expect Rek'Sai to go in. So he walked up, and after the Ahri ulti, we can see Chovy, the best mid laner in the world, he just backs off because he knows that this is the play, this is the correct play. But he wasn't like pinging the Rek'Sai like many of the low elo players, okay, back off, back off. He was just looking to hover, and instead of trying to control the Rek'Sai to back off, he was hovering, and then he was trying to make the best out of it. He tried to actually stun the Ahri, and you can say, yeah, coach, but he didn't do anything. Rek'Sai just died. True. But now, instead of Rek'Sai dying and Ahri being full HP, Chovy at least got a bit of chunk on her. So maybe in the next minute, he can at least, if not kill her, at least relieve some pressure of the lane. Really, really important. Really important. Do not play with a playstyle that is ignoring playstyle, ignoring the teammates playstyle. Play with a playstyle that is more hovering. Pinging will not really help you too much. You can ping one time, but honestly, in low elo, you're probably wrong anyways. Like if you're not like minimum master tier and you're pinging, you probably don't have like a clean understanding about like what should happen and what is a good play or what should, because you're probably gonna have the thinking of, oh, we have an objective, let's fight for it, or why are we not playing for objectives, or this kind of myths that are not actually true in the game, and they're actually very stupid because many people actually believe them and they tried. If you play with this playstyle of, okay, they shouldn't be fighting there, I'm just gonna ignore, you're gonna lose a lot more games. If you play with a hover playstyle, you're gonna try to make the best out of bad situation, you're gonna make the best out of your teammates. So what I'm saying is that you want to look to be a little bit more empathic and a little bit more with the playstyle of hovering and not trying to completely ping your teammates, completely ask them to do stuff, completely control them. Focus on yourself, hover the plays that can be hovered. Do not die with them. I'm not saying commit to them like Chovy did. He committed a little bit, but he committed in a way so he doesn't die against Ahri as well. So this is basically the best playstyle in my opinion.
Wait, coach, so you mean I should die with my teammates? Are you crazy? Like, what is this?
I'm not saying that you should be dying with your teammates, so you should follow so hard and commit to them that you're actually dying with them. No, what I'm saying is that you should be looking to hover a little bit more than what you usually do, and you should be looking to stay next to them so you can do enough damage to the enemy team and just follow in a way so you don't ignore your teammates, but at the same time you don't fully commit to them so you can die. So you have a good positioning so you're not actually engageable by enemy team, but at the same time you're covering and staying next to your team so you can do some damage in case they're actually right with their call. In case the call is completely over, you start running and you do not die with it. So by hovering, I'm not saying that die with your teammates. Right here in the next play, we're gonna take another example from a low elo player that is aspiring to go for diamond rank. So now he's playing Jinx and he is just looking to go to the bot lane. Why did I pick this play? Well, I picked this play very simply because in this specific situation, many people will think about grouping. So right now he has a fight on the top tier side. And some people will say like, wait, you shouldn't follow that, right? Well, obviously he should not follow because one, again, the distance factor is way like this is an X. Like you cannot follow, okay? You just cannot follow. It's way too far. Plus, also, if you think about it, even though the urgency was really high, he doesn't really get any chance to get there in time. So he just was going to bot lane. Yes, let alone the fact that when you have the bot tower available on the bot lane, this makes you a little bit more paranoid about grouping early. You can sometimes group even if the tower is up, but usually you want to play for the tower and you want to group afterwards. And this is what he was doing right here. If the tower was gone, should he just group right now? Well, it just depends on how many items he has, because right now he has only one item. So does he know that he can make a significant impact into the fight on the mid lane? Well, with one item, not really. So he should just look to split push a little bit more. If he had 2 items, or if he had 2.5 items, then it's another story. If he has 2.5 items and he knows that he can make a significant impact on mid lane, then he should look to push this wave and then look to go to mid lane. Like right now, after he gets an item and a half, he should go directly to mid lane. The most stupid thing that another AD carry would do is to simply go to bot lane. First of all, this wave doesn't really pressure anything. It's actually slow pushing into Jinx right now, but it's super far and it will most likely gonna overextend you if you go for this. And by going mid lane, you're also gonna hover your teammates. So this is really good what he did. So he played for the tower on bot lane. That's step number 1. He avoided the group because he didn't have, well, first of all, it was a huge distance, but there are situations where if you have a lot of items, you can follow fight. So for example, if he was pushing bot lane and he has an item and the fight is on mid lane, he shouldn't really prioritize to group to mid lane because he only has 1 item. But if he's pushing bot lane, as he's pushing bot lane, he has 2 items or 2.5 items, he can travel more distance because he knows that, yes, I travel most distance there, but I do have a significant power spike that I can actually manifest inside of the team fights. I have 2 items and a half and I know that my impact is gonna be huge. So what I'm saying is that the more items you have as an AD carry, the more available you are to group. The less items you have, the more towards split pushing you should be. If you have half an item or an item on AD carry and the fights are relatively far, you should rather just look to farm and chill. But if you have a lot of items and you're spending your time on the bot lane, then that's bad. You should spend as little amount of time as possible on bot lane if you know that you have a significant power spike that you can actually show in the fight. That usually happens, you can say, at 2 items, but it can also happen at an item and a half, like in this specific case. So this is the rule. The more items you have, the more distance you can travel to team fights, because you know for sure, even if you lose like 1 wave on the bot lane, it won't matter that much if you have 3 items and you know you can get into a fight and you can just completely obliterate the team fight. So do not be scared after 1 item and a half or 2 items to make more far rotations if you know that you have a significant impact right there. Do not just go into the branded close your eyes playstyle with just farm, because that's not gonna get you anywhere. You should be able to actually have a good understanding on when to team fight and when to group, when to ditch your teammates and when to not ditch your teammates. There is a lot of information on YouTube with educational content, but in reality most of it is unapplicable for lower ranks. It works in Grandmaster, but reality is that not everyone can apply it. If you feel like you know a lot about the game, you heard of cheater recall, you know wave management, and you have a decent understanding about the game, but you don't see any difference in your rank, it's because of the information that was presented to you is not applicable for your rank. So if you're silver, gold, bronze, if you're platinum, or even low diamond, this program is for you. We help people that have a strong desire to get better but feel stuck in rank and progress. This is why I created one-on-one personalized coaching program where you can discover and overcome the hidden mistakes that hold you back in your ranks. This guy booked the coaching and he got from gold to master tier with my coaching. Here is another guy that climbed from bronze to platinum with my coaching. Accelerate your improvement and start climbing faster than ever before. Book your own personalized coaching session and initiate your journey of getting better instantly. Do it right now. What are you waiting for? I'll see you in the session.